You're embarrassed about yourself, about the bully beat me up. I wish I would have stood up. Let that go. Forgive the bully like Jesus would, because that's actually what you're doing.
Wake up!
Love, lift, life. We touch into your mind, body, and soul.
You're gonna find us. I don't think so. I don't want to die, Donald. I've wasted my life. God, I've wasted it.
You did not. You're not gonna die.
I wasted it. I admire you, Donald, you know? I spent my whole life paralyzed, worrying about what people think of me. And you're just oblivious.
I'm not oblivious. No, you don't understand. I mean that as a compliment. It was this time in high school. I was watching you at the library window. You were talking to Sarah Marsh.
Oh, God, I was so in love with her.
I know. And you were flirting with her. And she was being really sweet to you.
I remember that.
And then, when you walked away, she started making fun of you with Kim Kennedy. And it was like they were laughing at me. You didn't know it all? You seemed so happy.
I knew. I heard them.
Well, how come you were so happy?
I love Sarah, Charles. It was mine. That love. I owned it. Even Sarah didn't have the right to take it away. I can love whoever I want.
But she thought you were pathetic.
That was her business, not mine. You are what you love, not what loves you.
Some people need love. Some people's love is buried beneath layers and beneath the psychological problems and other patterns. Their feelings may be caught in a triangle of fears and insecurities hidden in the inaccessible. Some people are frightened by love and by their need for love and by by its entangling nature, and seek instead material security. They cover a deeper hunger with greed and money and possessions. Some people seem to run from love, seeking pain and rejection as a way to avoid love's vulnerability.
The key to loving anyone outside of yourself is to first fall into unconditional self-love with yourself. Most of us actually hate ourselves, or judge ourselves, or are too critical of ourselves.
Which means that being a black man in America means that you are a divine entity. Now, understanding what that means now goes into your own value of what the creator would be. Because if that means that now you have dominion over the planet, that you have the capacity to do anything that you so put your mind to, etc., now that puts you into a whole different reflection of self.
And some people are drawn by love deeper and deeper within themselves to the core of their being. They are drawn to the essence of love and the root of loving, in which the soul is love for God and God's love for creation. They're talking about the inner God. Ain't shit out there but a hologram, a matrix. The heaven is within. They show you down the movie Stick Mountain. You don't get it. To love a God other than yourself is to love a God inferior to yourself.
What your chakra work really is. About the three lower chakras versus your upper chakras versus the gateway, which is the heart chakra. Now, in the heart chakra, which is what you get out of the Gnosticism I talked earlier, is actually the true science of the Christ. So all those attributes of Jesus Christ, the healer, the forgiver of your sins and compassion, the passion of Christ, and compassion, and all of those things that you could attribute to him is actually characteristics you yourself are supposed to develop in the heart chakra through the forgiveness of your own humanity.
Being a black woman, I mean, this is the same issue. You know, well, I'm a black woman, so that means da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, obviously, when she overeats or when she's actually smoking drugs herself or marijuana, or she's basically a workaholic because she thinks that working 24 hours is going to make her a better person, or she's got to play the lotto every day, or whatever else. All of this is because her esteem of self is less than what the body and the emotional body knows that it should be. So taking away the lotto, you know, firing her off her job, whatever else the situation, none of that treats the problem. It is the fact that she has to redefine who she is, change her name, or give herself a broader definition of self and be able to actualize that.
Is it not written in your law, ye are gods, and the scriptures cannot be broken? John chapter 10, verse 34, 36. These who are drawn to the root of the love are mystics.
So you forgive yourself for not being as cute, not being as big, not being as smart, not being as all these things black people are supposed to be as economic, not being powerful enough to do this, being too weak to do that. All these things that you have in your own mind about yourself and things that you are critical of, things that you didn't quite make the mark on, or things that you're embarrassed about yourself about. The bully beat me up. I wish I would have stood up. Let that go. Forgive the bully like Jesus would, because that's actually what you're doing. Then you take it to your parents, because 9 times out of 10, that's what we're going to lead it all up to.
So therefore, it's like that automatically takes you out into a different element. And I learned that a long time ago, and I just really had to let that go. So I had to redefine myself. I had to move into a different awareness of what I meant to myself and why that was not going to be an issue in my life, because I felt that if I could not face myself as how I was created, it was a personal problem that really meant that there was always going to be a block between me and whatever I tried to relate to.
I can't take it no more. I just got to surrender. You know, some shit like that. You just got to surrender to the shit. When you surrender, the energy takes you to the other level. You got to neutralize that goddamn ego, which is the physical matrix and reason, logic, rationale. But the shit that's on you, it ain't the love that you think is some primordial shit that's on the inside of you. It's coming from the universe outside. And you have to neutralize that shit. And when you neutralize that shit and surrender to it, see, sisters got egos too. This is another form. There's the classic male ego, but sisters got egos too. You see what I'm saying? So when you surrender to that shit, and so they're saying in here that you have to lose yourself in this thing. Love is a true fire that burns us, the passion that destroys us. You got to be destroyed.
And so all the so-called my mama never did this and my father never did that, or my mama always did that, my father always did that, I was able to throw them compassion, forgiveness for them only being human. And all of this forgiveness and compassion is just another way of saying I'm releasing myself from the emotional ties that have me insecure about who and what I am. And this is just another big fancy occult way of saying releasing your humanity.
So now we have the same issue with our relationship with our children. It's not a sincere one because we don't even come to them being ourselves. We have this problem with the relationships with our men because we don't come to them being ourselves. I have some women that tell me that their husband ain't never seen their real hair. I mean, you know, so I mean, that's incredible. So I mean, what is he really loving? I mean, what is he really with? You know, that this kind of limitation or esteem of self is extremely dangerous. And when a person withholds from themselves to that extent, how are they going to really give you their best? They lie every time they say they love you. How can they when they don't love themselves? And we need to stop really playing these games.
A cliche catchphrase. You've been hearing that. You gotta love yourself. Well, that's kind of vague and broad. How does one love oneself? One of the ways to do it is never compare yourself to somebody else as criteria on where you think you need to be along in your path.
Now, this is your work in your heart, and it comes through absolute self-love. So all those little self-help levels, hugging yourself, looking at your genitals in the mirror, kissing yourself in the mirror, you really need to do that. Once you have that self-love, then you'll be able to reflect it in mankind, your brother, your sister.
Your path is unique. You are unique. That means if you don't compare yourself based on your concept of beauty, you see what I'm saying? You might think somebody else is attractive, but whose perception of what you think that person is attracted by? You see what I'm saying? You know, certain things, you know, you might think that person is wealthy, but whose concept? You see what I'm saying? Because he can able to go out and buy some stuff that another human has created. You ever thought about that?
If I see the God in you, that means I'm able to see what I am in you. So if you I've elevated myself to the level of God. So you said, well, Brian, sometimes you rude, sometimes you kind of coarse, because I know how to speak to your humanity. I don't give a fuck about your humanity. I give a fuck about the God in you. So when I hear the God in you, you hear the ultimate humility in me, because I recognize what's in myself. What's in myself as a human has been killed a long time ago. Panic, as he's known, Larry, is dead. You know what I'm saying? Is dead. Because I killed it based upon the love of something that's greater. Now, I also talked about the science of the crossroads and your heart with these 4 ventricles. That's the true crossroad. And that's where you make the path of spirituality or compassion for humankind in the heart chakra. So,
see what I'm saying? But how does one love themselves? We got something, it's real simple. We got several concepts. But there's something about you that's uniquely you, that you like about yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's uniquely you like about yourself. You see? I don't know what it is. You might scratch your ass the right way. You know what I'm saying? It might be something that you know that you say, I like when I do that shit. You know what I'm saying? You might can cook a certain way. You know, you might can eat some ice cream a certain way. You know what I'm saying?
Most people who want to help black people, they made a choice to walk the path of humanity. And they will be back here next on another ride of humanity. Until you make that choice, because a legba at the crossroads is black and red. So you root yourself in humanity, red, or black, you go into the unknown. I've chose the unknown, which is to have compassion for something that's greater and to destroy the humanity. So now I'm having a human experience. I go to Walmart like everybody else. But what my agenda is, what I love is, and that same love that I found in myself, I recognize in every single black entity on the planet. The end. Well, how much they cultivated it means nothing. So I have absolute supreme love for you. I don't have supreme for your human ego. First, I have to find that love within myself.
What I'm trying to say here is everybody here got something that they love about themselves. You just got to find out what it is. And then magnify that tenfold. That is the God property of what they talk about, the letters of the different attributes. You just got to find out what is your main attribute. You see what I'm saying? You know, and whatever you do, some people like to drink real good. You know what I'm saying? Some people might, I don't know. Whatever it is, it don't necessarily have to be moralistic either.
You can't love anybody else until you love yourself. You can't love anybody else until you love yourself. So from a occult perspective, you really have to cultivate self-love. And to cultivate true self-love, you have to destroy the ties that bind you. And the ties that bind you are your human plight, your human trauma, the humanity that you went to over and over. And what you find to release that, the key is forgiveness.
The soul's love for God, which is this inner thing, frees one from oneself. And yet the freedom can seem like death as we die to the passion who we think we are. You think you goddamn Bobby Hemmitt. You something else. And this is taking you back to the primordial realm of who you really are. A chaos God. You see, the lover makes the journey from separation to union, and the journey that begins with love and draws him back into love. And this love gives freely and yet a price, and yet at a price. The love has only oneself, the lover has only herself to offer. And this love is the soul demand. So in so many words, you are destroyed and annihilated with this shit. And once you annihilate yourself with this shit, you're free. You see what I'm saying? It's just like anything else. It's in the goddamn movie Fight Club. 2 movies came out. You got The Matrix. They put a movie out called Fight Club. What they did is, they fuck people up. So what they do is they'll put a movie out. Just like these curse words. It ain't registering to you because I'm cursing. That's why I do it this way. Break through. But they put a movie and they put all this violence in the damn movie. So most sisters, they go see them and say, I can't take the violence. They be beating up each other. But you gotta listen to what Brad Pitt is telling the guy. He said, until you give up everything, until you ready to lose it all, until you ready to give up, you can't gain this shit. And in the movie, well, shit's 2 years old. In the movie, there's 2 people, and there's 2 people in the movie, and there ain't but one person in the movie, and the other is an alter ego. But if you listen to what Brad Pitt is saying throughout the whole movie, he's dropping on this shit, and he's telling the motherfucker to give up every damn thing. You see what I'm saying? Because the guy before was into the corporate world. He was trying to find out what bedroom signifies him as a person, and what dinette signifies him as a person. But he wasn't sleeping at night. He was going on these self-help clubs because he wasn't satisfied with himself. Well, the movie Fight Club, they got all these men in these corporate suits, but they're beating the hell out of each other at night because they're fighting against that goddamn structure of what the physical reality say who you are, but that's not who you are. He's saying that, say you're not your clothes, you're not your car, you're not your fucking house. You got to give up all that shit. And when you give it up, you're free.
The key is forgiveness. So what you have to forgive or start forgiving is yourself for not being adequate enough in whatever area. I'm sure you would know what you beat yourself up personally over. Right, and then I suggest the second thing is you take a look at your parents who cultivated your mind all your childhood life. And I don't care what you say, you're not going to get away from the mind control that they put on you naturally. Shit, just your mama sitting there telling you to say thank you. Say thank you. What do you say? Where's your manners? Remember your manners. Fucking mind control. So you have to forgive them for their shortcomings. They're only the children of slavery as well.